Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Evelyn's Roundtable. This podcast highlights a host of relevant topics. Our conversations share voices of women of color, Black women veterans and veterans, allies, candidates, and elected officials, entrepreneurs, teachers, students, and others. We also explore important issues and challenges such as grassroots leadership, job training, homelessness, and mental health advocacy, accountability, male inclusion, and civics. Our mission statement is to empower all women. Do you hear me? All women to hold hands as we rise. Well, hello there. Hello, everyone. Well, hello there. How are you two doing, I should say? And I just want to say thank you. Thank you both for coming on here, Amy and Walter. I really appreciate it that you're doing this for me and to be able to give your views on things and challenges for women in reentry and trades and business owners. So thank you for that, for coming on here to give your views on that. So ladies first. So Amy, could you please tell everyone who you are and a little bit about yourself? Can you hear me, Amy?
Hi, I can hear you now, though you're breaking up a little bit. I think you
Okay.
asked me to tell you who I am. I hope that's what you asked me, because that's what I'm about to do.
I did.
My name is Amy Ferreira. I am a sitting judicial officer. I'm a hearing master for Las Vegas Justice Court. I was appointed in 2020, and I'm actually running for a new judicial seat. So I'm running for Las Vegas Justice Court Department 8. A little bit about my background. I was appointed in 2020. I have a split docket, civil and criminal. Prior to my appointment to the bench, I was a prosecutor at the District Attorney's Office for 13 years. And I kind of focused my work on some of the most vulnerable members of our community. So I was on the Special Victims Unit, and I prosecuted child sexual assault cases on children under the age of 10. I started the first ever animal cruelty unit and was twice nationally recognized for my work on behalf of animal victims. And I finished my career as team chief of the domestic violence unit. Super excited to be here chatting with you guys today, and looking forward to what the future holds after the election.
Wow. Wow, that was good. Wow, you done did a lot of really, really great things. And Walter, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Walter Jones III. I'm a candidate for District 6 State Assemblyman. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm a resident of West Las Vegas, born and raised here in Las Vegas, attended college at Southwest College in California, and went to a scholarship to Prairie View A&M University. I had a short stint in Child Protective Service, and I was blessed to leave there in '91 to start my own business. I've been in construction. I've been employing a lot of individuals that live in our community. I was on the Bond Oversight Committee for the Clark County School District for 4 years. I'm on the board of director with the Village Foundation. I'm the vice president of National Action Network. And right now I'm in the process of starting a foundation, Higher Learning, Higher Earnings. is to encourage our kids to get a better education with their parents, starting at home, not just at school. And I look forward to moving into this position as a state assemblyman to turn around and help the things that we need in the state of Nevada.
Wow. Yes, we do need a jump start, don't we? So let's just get into topic. Well, first I want to ask you, do both of you own or know someone that owns their own business? Do you own or know someone that owns their own business, Amy?
My parents owned their own business the entire time I was growing up. They were both Catholic school teachers, but also small business owners. And so my family members were the only employees of the business. And so I saw day in and day out what it takes to be a business owner, that there's never a such thing as a vacation when you're the only employees. And I just saw how hard my parents worked to be able to give my sister and I the best that they could in terms of education and experiences and all those things. So I have such a high respect and a high regard for business owners. It's funny because when I was a prosecutor at the DA's office and I would go through jury selection, there would sometimes be small business owners who would say, if I'm selected to sit on this jury, I will have to close my business down for the next 2 weeks. And that was never lost on me. And I think that's as a result of the experiences that I had growing up and having parents who dealt with those same struggles.
Wow. So that's something, because then you said a little bit about the challenges in there too, because that's part of this too, because there are challenges with owning your own business, and there's even challenges with a woman owning her own business, and I mean, there's some good things about it, right? Because you mark off some things off the box, huh, Walter? Don't we? You mark off some of the
We
being a
try
business.
to. We try to. But to answer your questions, I know individuals that own their own business, and what really inspired me to go into my business was I knew what my check was going to be every 2 weeks at the county. If I showed up for work, if I called in for work, if I took off early, I knew what my check was going to be. I know as far as being a business, the sky's the limit. Is it hard work? You know, just like I know it's hard work. Starting off, you're the PR person, you're the secretary, you're the office manager, you're the accounting, you're the supervisor, you're the runner, the lunch runner, the check runner. So starting off, it's some problems because, we got to think about it. It takes a tough skin to be in business.
Yes, it does. Because Amy was talking a little bit about with the family, right? I mean, and then the sacrifices too, because you're talking about your parents, right, that were doing this, but also the sacrifices because they had kids. And life doesn't stop because you own your own business, right? I mean, you still gotta go do things, right? You, like you said, Walter. It just is not a 5-day a week, right? Or
Right.
you only answer the phone sometimes. So, Amy, tell me some of the challenges that you, as a woman in a family that owns their own business, were there challenges for your mom or for you girls why they own their business?
Yeah, I mean, there were a ton of challenges. I'll give you one kind of interesting example. So, the small business that my parents owned was a driving school. So, they would go to work as teachers all day. And then when they got off of work as, your typical school teacher, they then started teaching teenagers driver's ed. And the phone for the business rang in our home. So it rang in the office, but it rang in our home as well. So there was no getting away from the business because that was our home phone number. And so calls would come in at 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes people would call at midnight thinking they're calling a business, not realizing. And so that's a 24-hour-a-day job. I mean, it's difficult to juggle, right? I mean, your kid gets sick. In a typical job, if you're not a business owner, you call in and somebody else takes care of it. When you're the business owner and you're the only two employees of the business, life has to to go on, and so does your business. And that's a really difficult spot to be in. And I would see my parents struggle with that consistently. They had that business from when my sister and I were very little, and they just sold that business probably about less than a decade ago. And so it's been around for a long time. And I think I learned a lot of very important life lessons from watching them and seeing how they handled things. And I'm really grateful for that.
Yes, I like, you're right. It definitely helps with being independent, right? And being a starter, being a leader. It definitely is in that category. And Walter, I want to I don't know, you're a male that's owning your own business. I understand that, but there's been, I mean, because me and you done had a lot of talks about challenges that I be going through and my gripes and everything. But what are some of the challenges that you see that women go through as a business owner? Or what do we even do this? What about women of color that own their own businesses?
Well, that's a great question. I think women of color and men of color, we're about 99.1%. We go through the same thing. We get exiled out of a lot of jobs because if we don't have the financial support from financial institutes to help us, that eliminates us on certain jobs. We also got to look at, with us being minorities, it's kind of hard to hire a bunch of subs to keep us going. As dealing with the subs that we have to go through, then you think about it, we got to fight with the unions. They want you to go signature, they want you to join the union in order to succeed on certain jobs. So I think the biggest hurdle that the women go through is that certain men feel that they're not ready for the trade. And to be honest, I done met some fabulous women that's in this trade that's been successful. Every time me and you get together, and our conversation is what we can do better to help both organizations, women of color and men of color. And I think something like that starts at the top level of our government, local government. It has to be something that needs to be put in place that it can help us, because it shouldn't be, you say they got it a category as, okay, as a minority. Well, a Caucasian woman is considered as a minority with us, which that's not fair to us as a business person, because what that turned around, in essence, her husband can get her started in the business and she already got the bonding, the financing, where we're sitting up here struggling just to try to get a bond. So it needs to be things put in place where we need more than just 5 to 10%. We're taxpayers. We should at least get 20 to 35% of a job every time a job bids out in the state of Nevada. But what hurts us is when you have individuals that's in positions, most of our representatives, they're not in business. They either have a job or they're retired. So they don't know the struggle that we have to go through. Even when you bid on a job, if it's through the city or it's through the county and they have an account with Bank of America, we know where the money is coming from. It should be some stipulations in there saying, okay, if Evelyn get this contract, she should be able to open up an account, write checks, and you should cover these checks, because you know this check is guaranteed because it's coming from one of the municipalities in Nevada. So it's a lot of things that need to be put in place that can benefit us other than hinder us like it's been doing.
Can you explain one, because you said subs, and the audience might not know what sub, because subs can be food, sub, whatever, right?
So as a general contractor, we only allowed to do so many trades. So the trades we have to sub out is HVAC, which is your air conditioning, your plumbing, and your electrical. We can do everything else, but we will hire a subcontractor that does concrete, framing, drywall, insulation, taping, mudding, painting. So those are the subs that we have to reach out to. which the program that you have, which is real valuable, if we put a stamp on it to prove it where it goes further than what it's doing in the state of Nevada. Because if you think about it, how many other states have women in construction and you're trying to go out here and fight for them to start their own business?
Yeah, it'd be great if we could have one in every state, but you're right. There's not one in every state. There's not.
So I think with trying to get bills passed and to see, and I think Amy can help us with the language, to how to put it in the how to put it in the right language where it can benefit us to help a business grow. Because we got to think about it. We deal it, even when I was on the bond oversight committee, they only have 4 contractors that bid on schools here in Las Vegas. But they're using the same subs. But how can you use the same 4 contractors, but then every school they're using the same blueprints? So how can you get a change order and you're using the same blueprints? That doesn't make any sense. That's like me building a house for Amy Evelyn, and you say, okay, well, you know what? I want to build another house on this lot, but I want to use the same blueprints. So how can I come and tell you what it's going to cost you more when it's right next door to the same lot you own? And it's the same set of plans. It doesn't make any sense. It's a lot of things that I feel that as a state representative, we need to step up and be more accountable for what's going on.
And that's the word I was getting ready to use. It's interesting that we have to submit bills to make and hold people accountable, though, and or rewrite the bill. And you're right, Amy is very valuable because you do have to have the wording right. You really do, and so that becomes important too. Well, I want to get to trades. So Amy, even I know that me and you talked about trades a lot and about what I do. And I think in this city, town, state, however, there's not a lot of information out there about women being in trades. And trades doesn't necessarily have to be construction, right? Trades is CDL. Trades is mechanical. I mean, trades is mining. We got a big titanium coming here. We're going to do a lot of mining. So I know me and you, like I said, have talked about the trades. How do you think that they're about getting the information out there or helping the women that come through the judicial system to be able to get, I've said a bunch of things in one thing, I know, and to be able to get the information that they can get into trades? Because I know it's different with each judge, but I think all the judges need to do their part about helping with recidivism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the biggest issues that we have are these stereotypes, right? We're taught from such a young age that there are certain jobs that go with females and there are certain jobs that go with males. And it's interesting for me right now because I have a young daughter. She just turned 5. And she just started kindergarten 3 weeks ago. And she's always asking me, can girls do that job? Can girls do this job? Do boys have to do that job? And I just think it's so interesting. And I think it's really important for everybody to do their part to spread the word. Enough with the stereotypes. Everybody can do everything, especially in today's day and age. And I think a lot of times redirecting people when it comes to a trade, a profession, something that they can focus on and concentrate on, kind of automatically, even if it's not meant to, distracts people from having extra time on their hands to get themselves into trouble. So I think giving people a purpose and setting people on a path to do something that's important, not only for themselves, but for the community, is exceptionally important. And I think people who are in leadership roles need to do their part to push that message through. Sometimes certain people's voices, based on their position, are louder and they're heard more easily than other people's. And so I think it's incumbent upon those of us who have a role and have a voice to speak on behalf of those that don't.
Yes, I totally agree. Because I was talking to some of the judges, or not judges, but some of the electives that were running in municipal court. And it was interesting. I kept hearing, well, that's not my area. Well, that's not my, but I'm like, but you're still running for judge, right? You're still going to be in the building where there are women coming through there that need just maybe a talking to, or here's the information. But if you keep saying that's not my area, that's not my area, and you're a judge, I think that's just kind of, again, like Walter said, not being held accountable. You're just pretty much, right, doing the little, I don't have to deal with that because that's not my area. But I don't know. But I think it is your area. I think it is. Yes.
It's
and Walter,
everybody's area.
Yeah, I mean, right. We all should be in anything to do with stopping a revolving door for recidivism. I think everybody should be involved with that. That's just my opinion.
Yes.
Anyways, so, and Walter, in trades, because again, you are a contractor. You are you had a lot of experiences, there's a lot of know-how, and what has been your take on women in trades in this state? And why do you think that the information is not out here like Walmart commercials, like McDonald's commercials?
Well, it goes back to just like Amy said with her daughter. We have to be in a position where we have to encourage our young kids, male or female, that anything that they put their mind to, that they can do. For so long, society has made it to where either a woman works in the kitchen, make up beds, bake cookies, when, if you think about it, a woman in construction, she's going to go out there and she's going to give you 150% without a shadow of a doubt. She's going to outwork that man, because he's going to try to work with his muscles. She's going to work with her mind. So she's going to make sure that she does whatever it is she has to do. She's going to be the best at it. We have to make sure that we get to the place to where we have to give them more opportunities. Women can do good as an architect, which is a lot of them out there that done some beautiful buildings. Women can do good as a civil engineer, which I use some right now to do my civil engineering. Women know how to drive tractors. They know how to frame. They know how to do drywall. We're doing a church right now, and the bathroom was locked. The outside porta potty was locked. And where the church is at is not a well-to-do neighborhood. So I'm thinking one of the homeless persons then went in the bathroom. But when it came out, it was a woman she was out there doing the installation at our building. So I had to tell my superintendent, I said, hey, I made a mistake. It was the woman in the bathroom that was working over here. But we need to do more to encourage the young generation, to let them know that it's, if you think about it, Evelyn, construction, if you get in at the right time, that's a 6-figure job.
Yes.
And it's not something that you have to go to college for. It's something that you can do right out of high school. I wanted to present something to the school district when I ran for school board in 2000. I wanted to get the kids an aptitude test in the 7th grade, find out what skill levels that they have. Everybody's not going to go to college. Everybody's not going to the military. Everybody don't want to work at a hotel. Let's find out what their skill levels are at. Now, when they get in the 9th grade, let's start training them on the trades that they like doing. When they get in the 10th grade, let's keep training them. Now, when they get in the 11th grade, you're going half and half. You're working on your trade and you're going to school. Now, when you become a senior, if your GPA is up there, now you're working full time as a journeyman on that trade. So now when you get ready to graduate from high school, after a year and a half or 2 years, now you're not a journeyman anymore. Now you're a full-fledged person that can go out there and do the work and raise a family, or you start saving your money to build up your own success, to start your own one day. So these are the things that we need to start putting in place, and it has to start at a young age. We have to show them things at a young age. Just like if I'm successful to be in there, which I know I would like to bring kids from these schools on my side of town, bring them to Amy's court, let them see a judge, because some of them can be encouraged to want to be a judge one day. I could take them to your sites and say, hey, this is a lady that started women in construction. Now you got somebody to pass the baton to. So these are the things that we need to start working on at a young age with these kids. Even if we start in middle school, because their mind is like a sponge. So my area is one of the areas that we need to help. We need to help over here to start encouraging these kids, because a lot of parents think the kid's going to make it in sports or whatever. Well, it's only 300, 400 jobs in basketball. It's only 600 jobs in football. But how many lawyers do you need? How many doctors do you need? How many judges do you need? How many school teachers? How many principals? These are the things that we need to be encouraging our kids to look forward to do. You guys are the role models. You're a role model, Evelyn, because you're putting together something to teach the next generation. Amy is a role model. She's a judge. She's teaching somebody to stay out of trouble. I'm a role model because I'm teaching someone that every morning get up, and whatever it is that you want in life, you can strive for it if you put your mind to it.
Yes, I agree. I just wanted to get back to Amy because I'm doing a summit on Friday, and it's bringing awareness to women in non-traditional careers. And I know, being a judge, at one point it was a non-traditional career for women. Am I correct, Amy? I know it's changing a lot, but I think at one point it wasn't, right?
Say it one more time.
About women. So being your judge, and I know now there's a lot more women that are judges, but at one point there wasn't. There was more men in like I was saying, having a summit on bringing awareness to women in non-traditional careers. So could you just talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because I was at this get together a few weeks back, and they were talking about the pictures that are in the building at the Supreme Court up north. And they said that when you looked at how the Supreme Court makeup was, it was a whole bunch of old white guys. Picture after picture, a whole bunch of old white guys, a whole bunch of old white guys. And then all of a sudden, you see this shift, and you start to see, oh my gosh, here's a person of color. Oh my gosh, here's a woman. Oh my gosh, here's a woman, person of color. And so I think the progression that we've seen is unbelievable. And in Nevada, in our court system, just like I think in our legislature, we have more women than men. And it's incredible to see how the times are changing. I mean, certainly, I think it's important for everybody to be represented, but to think of where we came and how we've ended up is incredible. To say that there are more female judges than male judges here in Nevada is no lie, because it's absolutely true. When you look at the makeup of our bench, it's dominated by females. There's a whole lot of girl power going on, and it's pretty incredible to see.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is. And I know when I met you and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yes, you got to come on here because you're such a nice person, and I like when you see somebody and they stay the same every time you see them, right? There's no bipolarness going on. I think we all got a little bit of that, but I'm just saying it's nice to, every time I've seen you, Amy, you're always the same. There was no changing. I could approach you, you're approachable. And so it's really, really have been really nice to been on this journey with you and everything. So I want to switch to reentry, or recidivism, or those who are in jail or out of jail. And I guess with both of you though, this plays a big part, because with you, Amy, I think that, again, I call it the revolving door, because to me, there's not enough programs here. And that the programs that they have been around a long time. And like I tried to explain it this way, you have to have more than one type of reform out here. You can't just have one shoe fits all. It just doesn't work that way. And I explained it as picking an orange car, right? You can't have everybody pick that orange car because somebody might want a purple car. And I think reentry is like that to me. And I know, being the field that you're in, how do you feel about the recidivism? Is there enough programs, or what programs do you think there should be out here to help the women not have a revolving door?
I mean, I think the issue of recidivism and the criminal justice system being a revolving door is a big problem. And I think it's a documented problem. I don't think a lot of people are going to argue with you when you make that kind of a statement. I also think that not everything works the same way for the same person. To try to treat every offender in the same way is really problematic, because offenders are as different as people are. What works for one person doesn't work for another person. What motivates one person doesn't motivate another person. But I think by and large, if we're trying to make a blanket statement, people that have goals and people that are working towards something and people that have self-worth based on the ability to perform certain tasks or to be able to do different trades, gives people motivation to do the right thing. And so I think sometimes just giving people a path to a career is enough to get someone on the straight and narrow, especially when you catch them at the beginning, right? I mean, there are so many kids straight out of high school, and we're seeing violent crimes being committed more and more by younger offenders. And I think we really need to give those people something to do, something that they can take pride in, something that gives them a sense of self-worth, that they're better than, whatever is out on the streets. And I think that, as simple as it might seem, is a really big key to kind of solving some of the problems that we see currently in our community.
Yes, totally agree with you on that one. There has to be more programs out here. And you're right. Once you it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Life doesn't work that way. And two, Walter, isn't it something too that and I know you deal with a lot of different backgrounds because of all the areas, and like you said, there's drywalling, there's carpentry, there's HVAC, there's plumbing, there's welding. So do you have a lot of people that approach you that are from the system or getting out or going, or do you have any of that?
Well, no, actually, one year I done a program with the Urban League, and it was more of a reentry program. I had a contract out on the strip at the pedestrian bridge on Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard, and it was like a 90-day training. They provided any and everything that they needed. But the biggest problem that you have is it's hard to try to. It's like that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You get somebody that's been locked up for 10, 20 years of their life, and they're immune to it. Everything is fine when they get out, but sometimes they're ready to go back because that's all they know. I think it's something that needs to be done at an early age, and it goes back to, like right now, they call our school system from school to prison system. Well, we need to try to break that syndrome. In order for us to break that syndrome, we have to start educating them earlier, so they don't have to go down there and see Miss Amy. They don't have to go down to the court system. If they do go down there, let it be a field trip for who wants to be in law or law enforcement. Other than going down to juvie and now you're in trouble. When I worked in Child Protective Service, I had a case where I had kids on there young as 9 years old, curfew. But then it falls back to their parents. The parents is, they're working. You got a single parent that's trying to raise 4 or 5 kids, and she's trying to do the best she can do, and it's no father figure around. So we need to try to come up with a solution like you said before, to keep them out of the court system. You got some individuals that no matter what you do, they love the system. They love going in and out of. I mean, just like Judge Amy said, you can get somebody that can come in there and probably told her 19 times, I'm going to do good, I'm going to do right. And you give them that opportunity and they back again. So it's almost like dealing with a heckle and jive, a heckle. What is it? Heckle and jive, a heckle and where you got different personalities. But a lot of them come out with great trades and they make good of it. Some of the older guys, some of the women that we done a program with the Housing Authority, which was a Section 3 program, where you teach the women to trade. But the biggest thing is trying to keep them busy. And if they don't have the daycare for their kids, it's hard to come to work at 5:30 in the morning, and your kids got to be at school at 7, and you got to be to work at 5:30, and you get off at 3. Your kids get out of school at 2. It's hard.
Yes, I mean, daycare is a big thing. That's one of the things I was talking about. Daycare is one of the things we need to deal with, because in construction, daycare starts at 5:30, not the typical 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning and get off at 5. That's not what trades is. And as far as about those that return and those that don't, to me, sometimes it's not that person's time. That's how I look at it. I will never stop trying to help anyone, even if they do go back into the system, because maybe that next time it might, like me, when I got my driver's license, hell, it took me 3 times to get my doggone driver's license, but I still kept going back to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I have to look at it as if, okay, maybe not this time, but when it is time, they are going to come, right? And yeah, you're right, not everyone does, but I still think that you still got to try, and some still that are in reentry don't even know that you can go and get into the trades. That's not even something that's talked about, right?
But I think with what you're doing, if it's somehow you can team up with a daycare, and I think a lot of them would love to do the trades, get into the trades, as long as they know they got a suitable daycare that they can send their kids to and drop them off at 5:30 in the morning and pick them up at 4 o'clock when they get off of work, or if they're in school where they know they can go over to the daycare or stay in safekeep. So I think if some stuff can be put in place through the state to work along with you to say, okay, if you got this student that's want to learn a trade, you have her a job, and she has kids, then it should be some kind of compensation that can go to a daycare that that's in that area to help them out.
Yeah, there's only two 24-hour daycares, y'all. Believe me, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time, trying to get that happening. That's a whole nother lane right there to get that going. And you're right, the state needs to help. Again, we all need to walk and chew gum at the same time. So I agree. So I would love if, Amy, there's any last questions, remarks, or even tell us a little bit more about what you're running for. If you could please do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited about the work that you're doing. And I see an incredible future ahead for it. And I'm excited to take part in that in whatever way I can, whether it's spreading the word or referring people to certain things. I think it's super exciting, and I love the direction that it's going. I mean, I'm running for Las Vegas Justice Court Department 8. And what I love so much about Las Vegas is that this is a place where you can come to and you don't have to know anybody, and what you can achieve here is incredible. I mean, I'm from the East Coast, and back on the East Coast, people come from generations and generations of lawyers and judges, and it's tough to end up in certain spots if you don't have somebody in your family who did it before you. I'm the first attorney in my family, and I promise you, if I were back on the East Coast, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? I mean, my bar number in Massachusetts is like 666,000. Here in Nevada, it's 10,000. And so the fact that some East Coast girl could come here, get hired at the DA's office, end up as a team chief, get appointed to the bench, and now be running for justice of the peace is absolutely incredible. And I think that what we show women that what they're capable of, especially here, is off the charts. So I'm excited to be able to kind of be living proof of that, I'd like to think. I am looking forward to being a justice of the peace. I think you need somebody in that spot who's equal parts strength and compassion. I think at the end of the day, justice court's the people's court. And when you're in there, you want somebody that feels like a real person sitting in that chair. I mean, as it is, when you walk in there, the judge's seat is higher than everybody else's. I mean, a litigant walking in feels like what? That you're looking down on them. Nobody needs to feel that way, right? Yes, there probably needs to be a punishment. Yes, there probably needs to be a sentence, but you can treat people like human beings. And I think that getting to know how a person is off the bench will show you how they're going to be on the bench. And so I think just having an opportunity to chat with folks, chat with the community members, talk to voters, let them get to know you, and then let them make a decision. And so I'm so grateful. I think my point was, I'm so grateful that you've given me this opportunity to talk about important issues and to suggest how these issues relate to everybody in our community. I don't care if you don't even know the definition of trade, right? It's important in our community. We need people who are able to perform certain jobs for our community to exist and to thrive. And so I just think it's so exciting. Back to the point of my story, I am running for Las Vegas Justice Court Department 8. I will be on the ballot. It'll be at the very bottom of the ballot. Yep. I like to say we save the best for last. So I hope voters don't lose interest halfway down. I think the people at the bottom of the ballot really affect your day-to-day lives.
And I so much agree with you. And oh my gosh, you gotta have you back on just to talk about the other things you just brought up, because that is something what you've been doing here, and again the leadership skills that you show, and the couth that you show too. You know, it's just really something. And again, I'm glad to have known you, and I'm so glad that you're on this journey with me. And I can't wait to have you come on and speak again, and speak to some of the ladies that I'm showing that it takes work to get to where you're at. You just don't, it just doesn't happen overnight either. That's a whole nother conversation too. But thank you so much for being on here. And yes, you're going to do this. You're going to be successful. Yes, you are.
I hope so. Thank you.
You will. You will. No hope so's. I am going to be successful. No hope.
Yes, I will.
There you go. There you go. That's what I like. Yes. So Walter, could you please give us any last questions, words, advices?
Yes. So right now, I'm not trying to be biased, but I feel like I'm interviewing two WNBA stars with these two women that I'm dealing with today, because both of you ladies are full of knowledge in both of your fields. My name is Walter Jones III. I hope to be your next state assembly in District 6. I'm very approachable. I'm a people person. I love my community. I love Las Vegas. I was born and raised here. My job is to go up here and fight for the constituents in Nevada. It's not about me. It's about Nevada. That's the whole topic. Hold me accountable. If it's something that I can't do, I'm gonna tell you that I can't do it. If it's something that I can do, you definitely will find out that I can do it. But my job is to go up here as a team player, as a resident of Nevada, to fight for what's best for Nevada in District 6. So I hope to have everyone's support. I appreciate you, Miss Evelyn, as always. It's nice meeting Miss Amy. And hopefully one day we can do a tour with the kids to bring to Amy's court to show them, between Amy and Miss Evelyn, what the next generation is going to look like. Thank you, guys.
That was perfect, because you're right. We are all connected on here. Yes, we are. Isn't that something? Yes. Thank you again, both of you, for being on here. And I hope this is not the last time that I have both of you on here, and definitely want to have you on here after November so we can Well, a little bit after November, not right away, because I know it's going to be busy for both of you. So not right away, but maybe 6 months down the road or something like that, where you get settled and everything. So thank you again for being on here. And I always end with our mission statement. And the mission statement is to hold hands, to empower women, and hold hands as we all rise. And thank you both for being on here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.